Oh, you better put yourself off mute because now I cannot hear what you're saying, okay? As
Good,
much as we are wired towards each other.
good evening, Sham. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's just been 3 weeks. I just remember like it's 3 weeks, but it feels like forever.
Yeah.
It feels like
Ashok,
very
Ashok,
long.
Ashok was a bit too loud on the show, lah.
Ah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Since you were on leave and you didn't see him. Anyway, welcome. Good to have you back. Even though I do miss Ashok, I think we need to do a threesome. Yeah. And so, how are you? Have you have you
No,
recovered
no,
from
no.
your holiday?
No. I have not recovered from my holidays, but before that, I have not recovered from the threesome idea just now. Okay, but we'll go ahead. Yeah, go ahead with yeah. No. Yeah. I'll need another holiday, as people usually say, to recover from this holiday. But yeah, it's not about me. It's not about you. We're going to talk about talent development today with our second guest this in October, isn't it? We had Masi last week, and this week we have Dr. Kam Kok Yen. And you're going to tell us a little bit about Dr. Kam before we bring him on to stage, right?
Yes, of course. Now I met Dr. Kam because he had called us, to do some work for his team.
Hmm.
I tell you, this guy is quite scary because
Oh.
they're quite scary. We use the flow profiler, so before we even introduced flow profiler to him, he could describe every team member of his. One.
Mm.
Number two, he's a control freak lah. Now, how is he a control freak? Because he's very sure he knows about every team member. I won't even call employee because they're all equal when I go into their programs,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
you can see
Mm.
team members telling him off in that sense, lah, right? So
Good.
that's how you see where how power is equalized in
Mm. Mm.
teams, right? So you can see that, like, Dr. Kam can be the boss, and he's very clear. So he knew every team member, and then he called us. He said, I know this, but this is the puzzle I'm trying to figure out, right?"
Mm.
And of course,
Mm.
we did the flow profiler, and the flow profiler results showed where people were at that time. But what was most amazing is this: everything. So whatever Dr. Kam told us about his team members didn't
Mm.
show up in the profile. So Dr. Kam was correct because the people had changed. And that's why he was like,
Ah.
"Ah,
Oh,
my
so
people."
that was the puzzle, the piece of the puzzle that wasn't fitting. Okay, got
But
you.
then when we did
Ah.
the profile, when we did the debrief, and when we chatted, we realized that
Mm.
Dr. Kam was absolutely right about every team member of his. So he was without seeing the profile, he could profile them, and so he's quite a scary guy. So let's bring him up.
He's not scary. He's not scary. He's
Scary.
he's one we call a wizard. Okay, so bring the wizard on.
Yeah. We bring him on. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Kam. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hi, Mala and
Hello.
Yeah,
yes.
me, Sham.
Hello.
Yeah. So, okay. So I told you, I've already called you names. I call you a control free. Then I
Control
call
freak, terrible. You bring guests on the show and then you call them names. So I'm going to give you wizard. Okay, you're a wizard.
no. He's a control freak. But never mind. But this
I'm
is
okay with
really
anything. Yeah.
part about Dr. Kam that we both Huiping and I admire and love. So Dr. Kam, we gossip about you a lot, yeah. So Dr. Kam had joined BI, think in 2010, right?
Yes,
2010,
2010.
yeah. So doctor by profession, has done his studies. Now, if you talk about growth mindset, here is a manager and a leader who always has growth mindset because he's growing, right? He's one of the rare leaders who is a specialist because he is heading animal health, right? Who's
Yeah.
very interested in people development.
Mm.
So, typically, how heads of department who are specialists will say, let's put people development, that's not my area of expertise. And this Dr. Kam is also Kepochi lah. Want to know about his people, want to sit down with every meeting with human resource, right? Cannot do without, human resource have to work with him, right? And so that's what I love, admire, respect, and I think for me that's the hope that we want every leader to be like Dr. Kam. So Dr. Kam, we are very, very happy to welcome you into the show. Thank you for saying yes.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. Yeah. And before Malar starts with the first question, let me put a little bit on perspective, right? I think people who work on the outside, consultants like Malar and I, love people like Dr. Kam, who is very, very much involved. If you want all leaders to be very, very much involved, like Dr. Kam, I think HR got a headache. Okay, on that note.
HR will play a consulting role. I mean, if I speak to HR, where Dr. Kam is working, they know that, you don't have to worry because he knows his people. He takes responsibility for all the choices that he makes.
Correct.
Yeah. So Dr. Kam, okay. Now we have 1 hour or less than 1 hour. We want to squeeze this doctor's brain.
Okay.
Your brain. So tell us, tell us a bit about your role, because not every day we get to meet of animal health.
Yeah, I'm actually the head of animal health for Malaysia, Singapore, for my company, then Boringa. Then my role, of course, I think take care of the business for Malaysia and Singapore, for the company. And of course, I think if you drill into the role, the real role, of course, is to achieve all the goals and all the target, set with the bosses, I think the top bosses, right? But of course, the another role is to align. I think I would say align and also to actually gather the whole team and together with my external stakeholders to achieve our goal together every year. Then, of course, when I mention stakeholders, people is very important because I think the people internally or internal stakeholders or external stakeholder is the one that actually bring energy together to achieve our objective, also our target. So I think mainly that it's my goal. I have to make sure everything runs smoothly and everything achieved. So that's basically the role as a HOD in my company. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask what you said. Don't ask difficult question. It's not a difficult question. All right. So moving away from a job description, a JD just now, right? Like it's like kind of a JD that you told us, right? If you were to describe your role in your own words, right, or in terms of how you see your role as head of animal health, right? How would you do that? How would you describe it?
I think it's basically it's like a parents with kids. You have to know which kids is actually special and what is the strength that they're actually having in every kids. Like the kids, I have to understand them and actually put them at the right position. The right people, right position at the right time. I think that is very important for the manager or even a HOD. So I think that's a very important role in terms of like forming or coaching a team, right? Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. Sorry, Malar, yours. I hijacked you a little bit just now.
No, that's nice because you said they're like children, right? So what I thought was interesting is that you said everyone is special, and I know that everyone is special for you because you know everyone, both professionally and personally, right? Now, if you think about what motivates you to invest so much of time in your people, because that's what I see. You're meeting all your KPIs for sure, right? Internally you do have a reputation for meeting your KPI, so that's one successfully done. And you mentioned that from when you were describing your role, you sound like a person who ticks the KPI box very well. But personally, I know that we all know that you seem to be investing a lot of time in your people, right? Now, what motivates you to invest time in your people from the time I think your people join the organization and continue to be in your department, right? I think that your onboarding, all of it, you seem to be investing a lot of time. So, what's your motivation, Dr. Kam? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just going to check. Dr. Kam?
It's both of us now.
Yes. Oh, poor thing. The wizard did a wizardry thing.
Yeah. Never mind, feel good. That's good. So, while this is the kind of thing you pray doesn't happen, huh?
Yeah, but when you're dealing with technology, this is some of the things that do happen, right? Yeah. So you were talking about your experience working with Dr. Kam, right? Then you asked a question just now about him. Before he comes in and tells us his answer, what do you think? What would be your guess about about the answer to that question that you just asked?
Well, I think he has struck me as one leader, and this was years ago. This is 3-4 years ago. Dr. Kam has left an impression in our hearts, both me and Hui Ping, when we work with them, that he is truly a leader who's very focused on purpose and growth.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, as much as he will talk about work, right? One is he's very clear about the purpose of his department and organization, and he keeps aligning his team back and back again with the purpose. And he's very driven by the growth of the individuals and him.
Okay.
Right?
So my question then, I'm going to pause you there. So what are some of the things that you have seen that he does in aligning and realigning them to purpose and growth?
One is he has the conversation he needs to have, the difficult conversation. He's very courageous in having those conversations, right? So we can see that you know how sometimes organized leaders, right? They will call you in and they will get the information from you either through a assessment or in whatever methods that we use. They want your opinion, right? But I've not seen many leaders have the difficult conversations. And you can see from his team, right? He's got this amazing team. You have to see them in action. The most junior has equal power as the most senior in his team.
When you say power, voice, do you mean by voice? Yeah.
Voice, right? So so I was very moved. I remember, in fact, if I remember his name correctly, I think it might be Tom. We have to confirm with Dr. Kam. Tom was the youngest person and the most junior, right? He had a story. He had an amazing story about how he joined. He comes from really a very challenging background, and he was studying part-time. And he just spoke about how every member in his team knows his story, supports him to continue his education. And so he saw himself growing. So he wasn't working at his level. It's the whole team supported him to be whatever he can be. And you can. So when you're sitting in a meeting, when I was sitting in a session with them, you can, in some organization, you know who's the senior, who is the junior, right?
Yeah. Yep.
In Dr. Kam's team, you actually cannot figure it out. Right? One. Number two, I think the other thing, and Dr. Kam is trying to get in, and the other thing, Dr. Kam, the team, I will talk about the team, is that when we do the session, everyone speaks up. You don't have to cajole them to say, what do you think? No. There was this like amazing systematic way where they all spoke up equally. And what was also very interesting is they all volunteered their assessments on the table and say, let's talk about this. So they were very driven by their own personal growth, number one. They were very focused on how they're going to align with the team growth. And they talk about what they loved about their job and the changes that they didn't like about their jobs to their boss in front of every team member. And was a very safe. You know, we talk about psychological safety.
Safety,
You have
yeah,
to see,
yeah. Mm.
if you see Dr. Kam's team in action, you will see psychological safety in action.
Mm.
And that's why we've been dying to interview Dr. Kam for a bit lah.
Yeah. Yep. We've tried for a while now. Now, I'm just wondering, right? If as a leader, I'm listening into our show, this show, and I'm hearing what you're hearing about what you've just shared about Dr. Kam's team. It's almost like I'm interviewing Dr. Kam through you, right? While we wait. So as we wait for Dr. Kam to rejoin us, Mala and I are going to I'm just going to try and poke around Mala's head and also her body in terms of her experience working with Dr. Kam and his team. So back to the question that I had. So if I'm a leader listening to this conversation that we're having and what you just shared, things I've gotten is that it's psychologically safe. He creates an environment that's psychologically safe. That's one. Number two, and because it's psychologically safe, the team is very open to sharing their thoughts, their opinions, their viewpoints, right? Now, as a leader, I might go, all right, but that's fine and well. How then, if everyone's has a say in everything that we decide or most things that we decide, how does one come to decisions? How does one think about making decisions, right? So what have you seen? And Dr. Kam is slowly coming back.
Dr. Kam, yeah, we can't see you, but if you can on your camera, we know we can bring you up. So I think, when we talk about leaders, typically leaders, we talk about leadership skills, we talk about soft skills.
Yeah, core skills.
Yeah. What is, usually, whether it's coaching, I think coaching is something people talk about. Dr. Kam doesn't just coach, right? But he facilitates meeting very well.
Mm.
So he's very good at setting the direction, pulling the team together, because again, right, over and over again, he actually anchors them in the purpose of the role, purpose of the department, and how they're contributing to the organization. So whenever people are going a bit out of context, because everyone has a say, right? As they say, what I have seen him doing is that he will be the last person to speak. He listen, and then he'll be sitting down there quietly, and then he will pose a question or give them his opinion or bring them back to, let's look at what's our role. And then usually it's easy for people, because then oh yeah, I know my idea was accepted, but my idea cannot be actually used to, for the purpose of the department or our role. So he's very clear. He's very clear as a leader, number one. Number two is that I think he's got great communication, leadership skills, right? Specifically communication, not only listening well, he facilitates very well. He's assertive. As friendly as he looks, nobody can hold him ransom. Right? So nobody holds the leader ransom in the sense, right? We know why we are here. Let's talk
we can be taken advantage of. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And
we better say hello to Louis and Gerald, okay?
Oh,
hi,
yeah.
Louis.
Okay.
Yeah. At least, it won't look like only both of us are talking. Hi, Louis. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Gerald. Thank you for joining us. You say excellent team. I don't know whether you're talking about me and Sham or Dr. Kam Steve.
Don't fish. Yeah. Okay. So my question then is that when it comes to decision making, so you have all thoughts on the table, opinions on the table, ideas on the table, right? And then Dr. Kam, with his skills in facilitating, brings everybody back to the objective, right? Of what's our role here, or what is it that we are trying to achieve, or what's the outcome that we're looking for. So is decision making collective, or is decision making, so collective meaning consensus, or is decision making by majority, or does he make the decision himself?
I think it's neither.
So how does it make, then how does the team make
So
decision?
whether it's majority consensus or him, I doubt lah. I have not seen that. I've not seen him making the decision. No, he may. I don't know. I've not seen him. It's neither consensus or majority, because what people need to do is that people, whoever has an idea, they all need to get each other's not agreement, buy-in to the decision. So majority is a natural thing, because if you're not in, you're out, and if you're out, you better have a good reason, right? Because you need to know why. You need to be able to tell the team why you don't buy into the idea is what I'm getting. So would I say consensus? I'm not sure, but consensus, no, because they all talk about it. So the other thing about their team is this, right? Where they're different is they don't talk on a budget, lah. All right, they don't. Most of see, a lot of companies or a lot of groups, right, when they call us to facilitate sometimes, right, they want to have the most important conversation sometimes, but the most important conversation has to happen in a budgeted time.
Correct.
Can you do this in 5 minutes? Can you do this? Not 5 minutes, exaggeration. We want to do so much. We need to have the most important conversation for the year, but we need to do it within an hour. We need to do it in 2 hours. Right? We are having conflicts in our team, right? But you need to resolve, the people need to get to that within this time. And very often, right, there are a lot of underlying issues that we don't get to uncover. We see a lot of times any form of relationships, right? The issue in relationships that get unresolved is not what is spoken, it is the unspoken.
Yep.
If you want to resolve, is to create a space where the unspoken can be spoken. Then we're dealing with real issues. Otherwise, we're dealing with the ghost, right?
Yep.
Because
correct.
all the things that's on the table is not what is derailing us from our results. Right? What is under the table is what is derailing us. And if we don't get to, so Dr. Kam and his team, but I will still give credit to Dr. Kam. For him, so like when we're doing a program, right, we need to get to the bottom of the issue where everyone is on board before we go to the next one. So he's not ticking the box, right? He's not. So, and he looks at every situation, even mistakes, as a development opportunity. If you make a mistake, it's okay, but you better tell me what you learn. That's a conversation that they're having, you make a mistake. Okay, now tell me what you learn. So that's the kind of conversation that's happening among them. I mean, that's what I recall in that we had, right? As I say that, I'm going to say Jacob Tan. Jacob Tan says hi everyone. Hi Jacob, thank you for joining us. We are still trying very hard and praying hard that Dr. Kam will join us, because now it looks like everything I think about Dr. Kam is what's coming up. Okay, ask me another question now.
No, yeah, I'm just looking at the whole process, right, of creating a team. It goes from acquisition to development, then retaining them, and then growing, right? So as I'm thinking it, I think I kind of got the answer. I've got the answer, but there's, when you're acquiring people for your team, you're looking for talent to join your team. You need to be very clear about the kind of talent that you need that fits the role that you're looking for, right? And either Dr. Kam has got a way of picking them, or he can pick something together with HR, I'm assuming, can spot that something that or has a a tool or a method in which he spots that something, because one is wanting to have the team being open, wanting to have the team talk about, share their opinions and their thoughts. Another is the team being able to do that from a skills level, from a skills point of view, right? So as a leader, I want my team to be doing this, that, and everything else. Number two is it's always two ways, right? My team must have the ability to do it and must want to do it as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. And I hope he comes on for us to know, how he thinks about acquiring the talent that he needs, and number two, developing the talent that he needs, right? And how does he work as a leader, a business unit function leader with HR to get that team, right? The members of those teams.
Somewhere around, I'm hoping, weeping, if you're here, I wish you can come and join us in the conversation so that you can speak for Dr. Kam. But yeah, I will second guess it in the sense from the little that I work with HR. They've got an amazing HR team and very, very empowered, right? And you want to talk about a through partnership between a user department, right? They talk about the stakeholders and HR. I think one of the best experiences is BI for me. And that's what Dr. Kam does, right? So one is from the few stories that I've heard when I was working, when we were actually coaching them personally, and I'm taking, it's not a direct thing, but based on what people have told me, Dr. Kam does not fit people to a job description.
What does that mean?
I tell you, like, he's control freak, I told you, right? So, for example, if he has got, say, for example, you're looking at a list of 10 over 10 and he meets Shamini and Shamini only meets 8. And the 8 strengths are crucial for the job. And he knows that this is enough and this is good enough. He's one person who will take back the JD to HR and say, we need to change this, we have got this, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how I'm going to do. So he goes in always with a solution. Right? Very hands-on manager and leader with management and great management and leadership skills. Right? Because even as a consultant, when I'm talking to him, I don't need to use, I continue to use sometimes jargons, right? And he gets the jargon, right? I remember, even when he came to Flow Profiler, right? He came and spoke to us when he spoke to us, and after, our initial introduction, he just wanted information about Flow Profiler. He went and read up. The next meeting we had, we didn't have to explain to him what it was all about.
Okay.
Because
he knew
he already did his own background learning and thinking and growth.
Okay.
So that's the thing about Dr. Kam. I'll say that really different, very, very, very unique, right? And also when it comes to, so because we invited him for talent development, right? And so when he looks at development of his team members, right, every team member of his, he knows them personally. He has a conversation with them. He helps them to align their personal aspiration with the
role, the job,
the role, and the organizational aspiration.
Aspirations, yeah.
So he's back.
Hello, sorry.
No worries.
Thank you for not giving up.
No worries.
Finally.
Yes.
I have said a lot of things about you. Now you have to make it come through, Oni. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll need to really get into questions really quickly. So, Sham, let's get his opinion on a couple of things that I have put in my opinion, right? So, what were they, Sham? Do you remember the questions?
That we talked about, the two of us?
Maybe just ask him the question and see what he says.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dr. Kam, when you how do you think, right? So you're the head of the department, you're a leader, you're looking at building your team, right? And
Yep.
you're looking at building a team, so you're acquiring them, you are developing them, and you're doing things to retain them as well, right?
Yes.
How do you think about acquiring them and developing them? What do I mean by how do you think, right? It's like, what's your philosophy? What is important to you? What are the things that you not to a certain level tick the boxes, but it's your personal box that you're ticking, that you said, okay, as a leader, these are the
Yep.
things I need to fulfill.
I think, yes, I think first and foremost, I think the first thing I think of is the development. Talent development is one of my tasks. It's one of our so-called KPI as a leaders. I think a lot of people, they will push the development to the HR or even to the employee themselves. I think we need three parties to involve in this in order to have a successful one, meaning the employee itself, the manager, the leaders, and together with the HR. So for me, I would think that this is my job and also the employee, so-called the teammates' job. They need to know where they want to develop, what they wanted for their career, and the leaders have to show them or have to tell them or coach them what is their strengths, what is their weakness, what is their best performance scenario, and then how they actually can develop more. That's a leader's job. But then HR and the company, of course, they need to have the platform for all of us to perform, right? So that's why I think all this is actually we have to link all the dots together in order to have a successful so-called talent development. That's what I think. Yes.
Like you said, right? The three parties involved, right?
Yes.
And for you, you make it work because you consciously go and work with HR, right?
Yeah.
So not all leaders do that, right?
Yeah.
Many leaders think about HR as that's your role. You go figure it out, okay? Then you be the procurement, the supplier of human resources, and then you develop them. It's kind of separate. How do you think about your relationship with HR?
Yeah, I
Now
think
I know.
yes,
Carry on.
I think HR is very. I think it's one of the department is very crucial and important in the company because as we always mention, employee, the people is the asset, right? Then who actually handling or manage the people? I mean, HR is one of the business partner that we need to work with. That's why HR for me, it's my business partners. It's not someone who actually come to control or come to just stop us to do something and come to block us. I think a lot of leaders think of that. They will think that HR will have their own stand. They always talk for the company. They always stand for the company, but not the employee. I think that's what the normal thought as a HR. But for me, I think HR is our business partners. We need to work with them and we need to work close with them. Somehow a leader, we need to have a different perspective from HR. When you see your whole team, maybe this is what you see, what you think. But somehow we need to have a different perspective, maybe from different people. When they work close with the team, they will let you know this is what they think. So sometimes maybe we have a different perspective to look at the same people, the same person. So that's why I think different opinion, different comment, I think it's very important to develop a person. Yeah. So that's why I think the relationship is very important. Yeah.
The relationship. Okay. So I'm hearing the same thing, right? You like to hear differing opinions. You like you welcome it. You encourage it. You like to hear what different perspectives are before we say, okay, this is the way forward, right? Have you
Yes.
always been like that?
Of course, sometime when we need to make decision very fast and also very decisive, then we cannot ask around. That's the leader, as a job of a leader's job, right? We need to make decision. But somehow, when you related to people and also the development, then we need to hear more people, because why? The employee itself is the assets. I mean, they are the one in the team. we need to ask them, and also we need to respect their aspiration, what is their thoughts about their career, because somehow leaders always think that that person is good, that person we can develop him or her become a manager, but maybe this is not what he wanted, maybe this is not what she wanted. So that's why the alignment and also the communication is very important. So to make sure every one of us is on the same page. The employee actually wanted that, he or she wants to achieve that, then only we need to discuss and how he or she can get there. So when we work on the how, then we need to involve HR. So I think that's how I started with the talent development, or also I would say not notified or even identified the talent. Then only we work close with them, and also with the HR. That's what I think.
What So if you had someone on your team, and you may have already have this person, right? And
Yeah.
you see potential in this person. So assuming I'm on your team, and you see potential in me, and you want to groom me and put me into higher levels, right? And I come to you and say, Dr. Kam, I don't want to
Yeah.
take leadership position.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
don't want to take leadership position. I don't like doing leadership. I don't
Yeah.
like managing people. Right. I love
Yeah.
the way you're doing it with me, but I don't want to do it myself. Right.
Yes.
How do you think through that problem? Because I know from experience with working with the different organizations, there are group people who really want to get into leadership
Yes.
position, and then there are groups of people who don't want in the leadership position.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
How do you think about that?
Those that don't want to go for that leadership position, right? You mean how to deal or how to communicate with that group of person?
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
is a very good question. I think I met few, and of course we need to respect and also understand why. I think the why is very important. Sometimes the employee, they don't really have the experience. They don't know what is up there. They don't know what is out there. That's why they stop themselves. They stop themselves to develop, and because they think that I'm now very happy now in the position, I'm happy with my position, I'm happy with everything I'm having now, I like working with the team I'm having now, so I'm not going to move out from this comfort zone, right? I think maybe some people that just afraid to walk out there. So and also they don't know what is out there. Some people, they don't know what is out there. That's why they feel better to stay here. So that's why as a leader, we need to let them know what is out there, what he can achieve, what he can chase, what he can chasing, what he can go up to, which level he can continue to work on. I think all this is a possibility, and this is all the chances that he or she got if she wanted. So we actually become the lights, to let them know this is the path, this is the A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and then depends on them what they wanted, right? Because some people, they stop there because they don't know what is the option they are having. A lot of employee, a lot of teammates, the employee for the company, they don't know what is the option, where they can go after this. Maybe if the leaders don't really communicate with them, this is the path you can get after 3 or 5, or after you achieve some level of achievement, this is where you can go. So I think sometimes these people, they stop there because they don't know what is the option they are having in front of them. So that's why as a leader, we need to make them clear this is the option, and then depends on them. If they wanted still to stay, then okay, fine, you can stay. But this is what you're going to have. Continue for like 10, 20 years, you are doing the same thing. Is that what you wanted? Or you want to improve yourself? If they say, okay, I just want to be a technical, I want to be a technician, I don't want to move further to manager or supervisors, then maybe you become a specialist of the technical. You can move yourself to become the specialist, right? In that field, you can become the specialist for that field. Then how you going to move there? This gap, these steps also consider a talent development from what he's doing to become a specialist or the best of the field that he's having now, right? So I think this consider also the talent development. Maybe he doesn't want to move to the sales, to the strategy team, to the key account team, but somehow he can still shine in the technician, in a technical team, right? So I think this is how we have to communicate clearly with him, with the team.
I've got another scenario. What if
Yep.
scenario before I pass to
Yes,
Maler?
sure.
Right. So this scenario is slightly different. So you spot someone in your team that you see potential, right? And hypothetically, let's say HR, with whatever tools that they have, assessment centers and assessment tools and things like that, doesn't see the same potential, right? And
Yes.
you want, what's your strategy? How do you find a middle ground?
Yeah, I think first thing first, I think HR, of course, they have a very structured evaluation tools and all the package that we can use as a manager to evaluate the candidates or even the employee, whether they are the criteria to promote it or even they can move into different roles, right? But somehow I think we need to align the assessment and also in the real case, right? I mean, of course, in the behavior and also the traits and also the thinking, the mindset, I think we can use that to measure and also to evaluate. But somehow, if the position is mainly on the technician, it's mainly on the technical, I think, of course, we have to see things differently. Then, if in that case, right, I have to talk to HR. I mean, I have to align with HR. What is lacking? If they think that the lacking is because of the mindset or maybe because of the experience, that person don't have any experience to handle maybe more people in the team. That's why he's not really good into handle the whole division. So maybe that's a decision from the HR. Then we have to align with HR and maybe we can start with some project. We can start with some small project or small cases that can handle by the colleagues, by the teammates. Then after the short period of time, maybe 1 to 3 months, after he or she can show us this is what their capability, what he can do, then HR will be convinced for sure. Then only the time we have to promote the teammate or even we move him around to a different position. I think HR we need to respect because why? They are the expert to see people, especially on the traits, on the mindset, on the skill, the soft skill, the hard, all the technical skill. They know how to evaluate, but we just need to prove them because sometimes HR also setting very, I would say, very straight rules. They say, okay, people don't have experience like less than 5 years. They cannot hold this position. Examples. This is the HR rules, right? But somehow we have to understand we cannot only promote the person only when they have the experience. We have to give them chances. Especially now, the millennium and the young generation, they can shine, but what they lack of is only the opportunity. Sometimes we need to let them show, give them a platform, give them a project, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. If they can show us this is what they can do, why not? Why we need to stick ourselves in the 5 years experience, 3 years experience, only you can promote to become a manager? No, I think we have to look into the capability and also what the person can do. I think sometimes the courage and also the mindset is more important than the experience. Yeah, that's what I think.
Ayo, Dr. Kam, like this very susah, if I'm HR, you go and look at all the HR rules, and there are other departments who are following the rules. How lah, Dr. Kam?
No, that's why if I'm that's why I think okay, first thing first, HR never easy. HR never easy. Some people will think that HR is very easy. Just go to the office and then just make sure the payroll is over, everything is over, hiring, that's it. And the hiring manager is not HR also, right? So it's not a problem. But somehow I think HR it's really important. Yes, you are right, Mala. Yeah, like HR have to know standardized thing for sure. If let's say the division head having the same situation, I think this person it's less than 5 years or so, but he can do better. I think he can get the position or he can get promoted. Then only he can learn along the way, right? So of course you need to prove like what I mentioned. You have to give him a project, a certain situation, let him or her to lead the project and let him shine. Then after he shine and he show you his capability, then only we discuss more. I think at least employee earn the chances or opportunity to prove themselves. I mean, to the management. Yeah, I think especially for the young people. I think a lot of people say that, I heard a lot of managers or leaders say young people nowadays is very hard lah. They don't have the manager mindset. They don't have this and don't have that. I think sometimes like us, we can learn a lot from them. We can learn a lot from them, even the young people, because the mindset they are having, they have the courage, they really think out of the box. I think this is something that we can learn from them. And of course, sometimes they need skill because they don't have experience. Somehow they need the soft skill. They need the company to help them. I mean, they need the manager, the leaders, or even HR to help them. Yeah. So I think this is how we have to get a balance.
I'm going to ask a difficult question. Wait. I got one question. I'm going to put you in the spot, Dr. Kam. Okay.
Yeah.
You naturally like this, or is it the Boehringer culture that made you like this?
I think maybe half. Myself, I like to, I would say 50-50. Of course, company give me the platform to test run, to try and error, what is right, what is wrong. I have the platform from a company to when I start to hire people, when I start to interview people, I like interview people. I like talking with the candidates. Then I like asking questions. And I think with that, then only I know who is the right person for the right position. And for myself, I think when I like talking, when I like communicating, then this is how I can notice and I learn how to differentiate different type of people. And also, I think one of my strengths from the Strength Finder is individualization. I know every person is different. I know how to talk to different people. I'll even try to react with the different people. Even myself, I'm still learning for sure. But of course, I sometimes have to remind myself also, every person is different. Even every teammate in the team is different. What they wanted is different. So I think with that, I think leaders have to continue remind ourselves. I think that's very important.
Nice. I told you, right? See, all the things usually managers say, I don't like interviewing, I don't like talking to candidates. Dr. Kam will say he likes.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious, right? So you are managing a team, you're managing a function, right?
Yeah.
Now, in managing a team and function, you have business as usual on a daily basis, things that need to be done.
Yes.
How does a manager, leader like you, right? Because you spend a lot of time with people when they're working with you directly, right?
Yeah.
How do you use the opportunities at work, right, to help you understand how to develop their talent? So what are some things that you unconsciously do to say, this fellow, I think can do this better. I think I can stretch him or her this way. I think this fellow, and as you're thinking about it means you seem to have an eye for talent where you are always trying to stretch them to see that they are better than what they possibly. You can be the light, basically.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you're looking this light that you are, right? What are some things that you look out for when you are thinking of talent development on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think daily basis, some leaders they will try to they will think that when daily basis, like as usual, business as usual, then the talent development is very hard. We are so busy with the commercial, we're so busy with the work, with the project, with the event, with the launches, with sales. So it's very hard to really develop someone. I mean, meanwhile, everyone is so busy, no one talking about that, right? Sometimes only HR remind us, hey, who is the talent in your team? Let us know. Then we try to do something. So when we stop, then only we try to realize. But for me, I think when you're doing the daily task, that's the best timing when you observe who is the talent. That's the best time. Because when someone is doing something, how they work on the task, how their mindset, how they think, even the task is a failure, even the task is not successful, but then after that, when you talk to the staff, so what you learn, what you think, what you can see from the case, I think that's actually giving us some clue. This is what he thought, this is what he think. If someone is really very negative mindset, as we know, as a leader, we can't have always a negative mindset. We need to motivate. I think motivating is one of the role of leaders, right? So that's why I think the team have to talk to them during the task or during the event or during the responsibility when they could carry out their responsibility. That's the best time when we communicate with them. We know what he's happy that he's working on this. Why? Because he's loved to do this. If he's very nervous, go on stage because he is the MC of the event, he will start not eating breakfast, not eating lunch because he's very nervous to memorizing all the script, everything. If the staff is having that, right, then maybe on stage or become a public speaking person is not really his strength for now, not like forever, but at least for now. Then after that, we can talk to them. So what you think the best you can do? What you think what you have done just now during the MC time? So what you think is the best? So I think during the conversation, we know what he think he's best, right? But of course, we need to guide them because some staff, right, some employee, they think he's bad in something, but then actually not. And we know their strength by looking into their task and the quality of the performance, right? The quality and also the performance of the task. We know. So we need to let them know this is what we observe. This is what I think. But somehow, agree or not, we need to communicate. Yeah. So that's why if they also realize this is my strength, yeah, I think this is my strength. Yeah, I think this is my weakness. I think this is something I can look into because even I'm now a technical, maybe I'm good in marketing as well. I'm good in sales. I'm good in strategy. I'm good in planning. So when they realize that, then maybe we can slowly develop them into that direction. So I think that's why daily tasks and also communication, I think this is the most crucial and also is the best time to observe and to communicate with the team. Yeah.
A rapid fire question, one only lah. Okay. Ratio, I'm asking you for a ratio.
Yeah.
Ratio of the time you spend on technical aspects of your role and leadership aspects of your role.
I think 70 is on leadership and people.
Okay. And 30 would be the technical.
Yeah. Because the technical, the technical, I will leave it to the team. Because they are the best working on the technical. I trust them. All the technical work, all the skills that needed for the task to complete the task, to get the goal achieved, I think it's with the team. So I think I'm mainly working on people. Yeah.
Wow. So the follow-up question would be for me is that how do you measure your success?
I think when the team talking to me more, when they become more open, I like them just coming to my room and talk to me. When my door is open, they can always walk in. I think when they walk in, I think I'm happy to see. I think I need to know more about them. I think when the communication is more communication between with the team, I think that's more successful. I think that's the best case because we need to understand them. And of course, I think my success, when I think I'm successful, I think that I hope that if every one of my team can be better than me, I think that's the best.
Very nice.
If they can do things better than me at my age, because sometimes when I try to encourage, at one point I talked to one of my teammates. I said, "Don't disappointed what you have done. You try your best. When I was your age, I can't even do that. Not even close. When I was at your age, I'm not even go on a stage, and I don't dare to talk to like 200 to 300 people standing in front of me, and I'm still cannot do it. And you just did that. So that's why I think when they do things is better than me, even the same age, even the same role, they have a better idea, they have a better achievement. I think that's make me happy.
6 minutes to go. You bring it home.
So I'm going to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
You remember? No. I'm going to ask Sham because we spoke about you when you were not around.
Yeah.
So Sham, you remember you asked me some question, my opinion about Dr. Kam. Did I answer your questions correctly?
Don't fish. You ask the question, Dr. Kam. Okay.
Okay. So I probably have two questions before we wrap up. Yeah. One is, because your number 70-30 really shocked me because I've not really heard anyone say such words so boldly. I was expecting 30% leadership and 70% technical. So that's what I was expecting. Again, you are Dr. Kam. Now, you get to know your people at a personal level. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right to say that? Because what I like about you, what I love about you, is that you're not one of these leaders who says we only talk work. You know people as a whole person. You know their personal life. You know their professional life, right? And you build them up from there. How do you have boundaries in your communication and conversation as a leader, right?
Yeah.
When you're getting to know them at a personal level and professional level. I mean, how do you manage boundaries, please?
I think yes, boundary. Yes, we need to have that because somehow we need to know this is work, this is personal life, and this is friend, this is colleague, right? So, for me, I think how I do that, how I actually have the boundaries. I think we always need to set that. I think how I did that is that you talk to the person at a different venue. When you talk to a person in the office pantry, in the office lobby or foyer, in the meeting room, in my room, at their desk, on their table, at their table. I think when you're doing all this, I mentioned just now, right? You are in the office. That's
Right.
work. That's works. So let's talk about business, right? Then when go out there, I'm the friend. I'm a seniors. I'm the friend. So maybe I'm the mentor. Then we find different venue, a bar, a restaurant, a mama, or anyway. Then we can talk more leisure topic, and maybe sometime you were surprised. Maybe when you are having mamak, you having nasi goreng at the mamak store, you guys can just automatically you talk about talent, you talk about feeling, you talk about what you want to get to, right? I mean, when people more relaxed and they talk. If you imagine last time when I go in, I mean, even now I go into my boss room, I was still nervous. I was still don't know what I'm going to say, right? For sure. So even I go into my boss room now, it's the same. So imagine if you ask your teammate get to your room and then you ask this question to him, what you want after 5 years in this company. I don't think he can say something. Or at the right time, maybe he tried to pick up something and just blah blah blah. But when you are having meal, when you are having drinks with him, with them, then they can slowly let you know this is what they wanted. This is maybe something I can work on it. This is maybe something you can advise. And at the same time, maybe it's a good time for me to advise and also to coach. Yeah, people when people more relaxed. That's why I think this is how I separate. I mean, have the boundaries between work and also as a personal friends or seniors or even a mentor to them. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I told you. This guy wants
What I miss?
you miss a lot of good gossips about you.
Yeah. She's talking about you behind your back, but she
Yeah.
quite spot on. She's quite spot
Yeah.
on.
So what you're saying, so what I love about what you're saying is that you are able to differentiate when you are playing the professional role and the personal professional relationship and personal. But what I'm also hearing is that whatever you when in the personal relationship setting, when they're more relaxed, there are some information that you get that actually helps you with your choices and decision, because that's also mindset coming through, right? That helps you with your talent development. How do you make sure your own leadership development is always in a development journey? Because I know you do that. So how do you keep your own leadership pace so that you're always ahead of the game for your people? What do you do personally for your own personal leadership development?
I think for my leadership development, I'm happy that I have a few mentors in my life, not only in the office. The mentor is not really exactly have to be our colleagues or our bosses or even peers. I have some friends out there, different field, different industry. We talk, we discuss, and we share. I think this is very important to keep myself motivated and also keep going, keep moving. I think that's one thing. And of course, the leadership. I think I also continue improvement is a way of life. I think I always said that. This slogan is in my CV until now. I continue improvement is a way of life. I think have to try to get more exposure. And of course, I raise this to my boss. I think we as an employee, we cannot be shy to voice out what you want,
Mm.
what you think is best for you, what you want for your career or for your path. I think we need to voice out. Get it or not is different thing. At least you fight and try to voice out what you wanted. Sometimes we also always push this to HR or company. Company don't understand me. HR don't understand me. Manager don't understand me. My boss don't understand me. Doesn't understand me. Yes, but if you really keep silence 100%, no one going to understand you.
Nice.
You need to
Thanks.
voice out. You need to
Thanks.
voice out. Yeah, you need to really voice out to let them know what you wanted. Then we try to get the alignment, whether this is suitable, this is best for you, or the company has the platform for you to shine. So that's why the one thing I'm doing, I learned to do because Asia, we are shy. We always shy to raise up hand or do anything. So I think for me, I will just tell my boss, this is what way I want to go, this is what I wanted, and ask him what is the gap, what is the gap that I'm having now to in order to get there. If that's my objective, I want to get there, then what is the gap, and I will work on it. I cannot get it now, but I will get it one day. So I think that's for myself.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Sham, any last question before we let him go? I think he's been
No?
fantastic.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Yeah.
I still
We've
have
reached
one
1
last
half an hour.
Can
Okay, go.
last one. What
Okay
is
lah.
the greatest challenge or difficulty that you experience as a leader in talent development?
I think will be three things. I think maybe the one thing, no, maybe the last. I think the first thing I would mention, I would say will be the challenges will be the employee doesn't know what they want. They
Ah,
really blur. They are very good in their work. They're really good in their responsibility. They're really 200% out. But sometimes, somehow, those best performer, when you ask them to sit in and then they what you wanted, what you want for yourself for 3 years later, I don't know. Because I'm good at what I'm doing now, I never think of 3 or 5 years later. So that's why even you ask them to go back and think, we talk about it maybe 1 week later, they will still blur. So I think we need to know what we wanted. I mean, the employee. I think that's the biggest challenge. The leaders doesn't know what the staff actually wanted, because the second one is actually linked. The second one will be the leader think this is the best for him or her, but he or she doesn't like it. He or she, if you think this is the very best candidate for that role, for the strategy manager example, right? But end up they say, no, I don't want to go for strategy. I want to have a peaceful mind and I want to have a steady job. I just want to stay at technical. I just want to work on technical. I don't want to think too much on the strategy and things like that. No, I don't think I like it. But he or she actually very good in giving an idea, very creative, very innovation, but somehow this is not what he wanted. So I think that's the second challenge. And the third one, I think, will be the challenge that the company structure and the company direction doesn't allow you to make him or her stay.
Hmm.
That's the one of the challenge, because even no matter how this is not my company, right? How the company move, of course, that's a direction. That's a big organization. Everything move as planned. And sometimes the employee is best, but somehow we cannot get him or her a best position for him to continue shine. So I think that's also something that as a leader, sometimes we have to let go. Sometimes we have to know what is best for them, and also that's why I think the company, the leaders and the employees have to be really one. But what I mentioned just now, we have to link all these dots together in order to really have a very good talent development plan for that person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
I think it was the last question. No more question, but I'm just curious. If you were not the head of animal health, what would you have been? A consultant.
That's also something that I ask myself what I'm going to be. I mean, if let's say 10 years later, what I want to be, I actually like continue talking to people. I like interact with people. I think I'm not putting myself into consultant. I don't know whether I have the quality to be that one, but at least I think I like to share. I like to be a mentor to show other people, don't go for that path because I have been there and that's wrong, and then do something better. And I wish I can help more people to be a better me. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you very much. I know we went past 7 o'clock, but I think that's because we lost 20 minutes.
Yes, like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
20 minutes. Thank you for being so open to share your wisdom, right? And also your experience, right? And I think 10 years from now, you'll be a wonderful career coach, career mentor.
I hope so. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity, and wish everything okay for you guys, and stay well and stay safe.
You too.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Oh, wasn't he lovely?
Yes.
Yes.
So brilliantly down to earth.
20 minutes. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think in the last half hour that we had with him, he did it really, really wonderfully, briefly, condensed it, he nailed it, and we still have the clarity that I think we have lots of clarity, and our viewers have lots of clarity around how Dr. Kam sees his role, as a leader for a team. Yeah. So yeah, good job getting him on the show.
Thank you. So with that, without much ado, stay connected until we see you next week with another wonderful practitioner whom we respect. Have a safe week. Have a wonderful week. And for now, and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify. For now, we'll say goodbye. Take care.
And good night. Have a good evening with your family. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.